Well, well, well. Hello, hello, hello. Well, Syracuse dropped a tough one, 80 to 68. But in our pregame talk, one thing that I was very interested in seeing when this game started was the fact that this team's got to find an identity, and they've got to find a leader to follow. It's going to create a lot of opportunities for young players, and it was intense. If you're talking about the Colgate team, there's one thing that one of the notes that I made was just because you wear the orange Syracuse uniform, just because you wear the colors, doesn't they've got to mean something to you. You got like these guys, the young guys are wearing Syracuse colors, and they're like, "Wow, I'm wearing a Syracuse uniform," but they haven't put the time into them. They haven't put the sweat into the blood, sweat, and the tears into it. Well, now they got to put a little bit more blood and sweat because they get a chance to put some tears into it tonight. I'm not really too bent out of shape about them losing to Colgate because I make it clear I don't look at the name that a team is that the team is wearing on their uniform because the most dangerous teams to play against are teams that don't have anything to lose. They're coming in here, they're playing Syracuse at home. They came in here, they had confidence, they had swagger, they were aggressive, they crashed the boards. Um, they played really smart. And the one thing that I want to see Syracuse do a little bit better is their intensity. You play with a bit more intensity. Of course, this team shot phenomenally. That's true. But Syracuse has to match their intensity. If they can match the intensity of Colgate, you got to remember Colgate is Syracuse had athletically their players were probably a little bit better. They could have done a little bit. They could have been. They could have fought a little bit harder. I was watching guys run up and down the floor, and there was just there's a fire. The best way I could describe it is you got to be like a junkyard dog. When that ball's in front of you, you don't reach for it. You dive like 12 feet after it. You got to get that intensity. And this team with intensity, they're already talented. One thing that they did that I noticed from the last game, in the last game, everybody was attacking. They were going north to south. They get the ball, they put the ball on the floor, and it was 1, 2 dribbles, and they're going someplace. It reminded me of a drill that I was in Rochester with the Razor Sharks, and I walked into the gym, and the coach asked me, could I work with the big guys? Could I show them one thing? So I said, okay, we're gonna play one on one, and I let the guys play one on one. Each guy on the low box, the low post, could catch the ball, and he's playing one on one. And after like a few minutes, they're dribbling 3, 4, 5, 6 times. I had everybody step back and I said, now I want you to take the basketball take one dribble and dunk from wherever that distance is. I don't care if it's 4 feet, 8 feet, 10 feet, 12 feet. And each person got the ball, turned around, took one dribble and dunked. And I said, now you just finished playing one on one, dribbling 8, 9 times, moving back and forth. I said, now when you play one on one this time, I want you to keep in your mind that I'm going to take one dribble and dunk. That's what I'm trying to do every possession. The only reason I don't take one dribble and dunk is because the defense cuts me off. And then when he cuts me off, I'm still going to finish towards the basket. And it's amazing that everybody was playing better, everybody was scoring better. You have to have a reason that you're going into the paint. You don't want to go into the paint and turn around and throw it to somebody behind you unless that's what your team is working on. If you're a team that penetrates, if you're a team that shoots shots, um, there's nothing that'll soften up the middle better than trying to get involved into the game. I noticed Jesse was not getting a lot of touches in the first few minutes of the game. True enough, they're knocking down a lot of shots, but yeah, and I think the referees they were kind of letting a lot of pushing going on. But still, it's a learning process. Other teams are going to do it. Those things happened. Now this young team just got their first badge. They just took a beat down at the hands of a experienced Colgate team. Forget about what the name of the school says on their chest. Those guys came out here. They had a game plan. They were cocky. They were confident. They shot the ball well. They played well. I'd like to see a little bit more of that attitude like Colgate had transfer over to the young guys that we have on the Syracuse team. And one of the things you can take away from taking a loss like this is one of the things that I used to do. We call it fuel. After you take a loss like this, everybody's cheering, everybody's happy at your demise. I would just sit there for about 15 minutes and just look around and soak it all in. Look at the guys I played against, what they're doing, how happy they are, and make a conscious decision to say, hey, the next time I will give every drop of inch in my body not to let them enjoy a win like this. Use it as fuel. Use it as something to help you get psyched out to get ready for the next game. Raise that intensity. Some good things came out of it. Some players came out, they played strong. Let's see. Benny Williams, yeah, they had a discreet game. Jesse Edwards came out, got 10 points. I would have liked to see him get more touches like he did towards the end of the game because that will set the pace. You get their bigs in trouble, uh, worrying about Jesse, and it's a whole different outcome. But yeah, they you had freshmen playing against juniors and seniors, and when that situation happens, you as a player walking on that court, you have to understand that this is going to be a dogfight and a battle, and 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 you gotta meet experience with intensity. You know, you're big, you're strong. Hey, go out there and crank up the intensity of that game because once you get that Syracuse crowd behind you, it'll give you a little boost. They tried to get involved in the game. Colgate kept them out of it. My hat off to Colgate. Syracuse, not really all that terribly worried about it because you guys got to roll your sleeves up and go out there and get the job done. That's it, real quick. I would like to thank Junk King, Syracuse 136, Ball Circle, Syracuse, New York 13210, the #1 junk removal service. Thanks, Hank. It was great talking to you pregame. A heads up, I liked what I saw. There's some good things. There's some things that we don't want to see again, but you got to play those games. You got to refer back to them and understand that, hey, if we're going to move forward, it's a marathon, not a sprint. You can always find something small in that game, build on it, and understand what you don't need to do because you'll find out what the outcome. So those young guys that didn't have any experience in Division One, they just got a great lesson in Division One, and they need to understand if you don't want to keep feeling this, do what the coach tells you to do. Got to roll up those sleeves and get the job done. Thanks a lot. Have a great night. The saluto. Ciao.